Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavally. Welcome back to my channel and the further adventures of Gunslinger Russel Miranda, who finds himself in a pretty pickle. He's been captured and apparently is about to be turned into a ghost rider of Tahira himself, which is obviously not what he wants, but he's in pretty bad shape. He was in pretty bad shape. He got captured after getting an energy lash across the face and his torso. Now, as per standard TriCube Tales rules, from session to session, the characters are supposed to get back their resolve and their ka, or their karma, but their ka. Now, Russell's pretty beat up. He has been given some medical attention though, because the doctor, he or she, he can't really tell yet, did inject something in him that kind of stimulated his body enough at least to make him ready for whatever transformation, that was our result last time, whatever transformation process he's being prepared for. And really, if Russell cannot get out of this, I th- I think he's done. I think he's done. So as he has been sitting there trying to gather his strength, his face is still split, still messed up, but now at least his body, even though it's pinned, even though he's been restrained, he's able to speak more clearly now. His face is not numbed. He can see better now, and he thanks the gods, the ancestors, whomever, Gan, the tower, that lash, that whip did not tear his eye out because it came down over his eyebrow and it could have easily destroyed his eye. But as it is, his face is just split and his chest, where the rest of the whip slashed through, is still in a great deal of pain. Now my inkling is that he's got to escape, which is going to be a strength, to try to break the restraints. Let's shuffle our deck here a couple times. Yet, there might be something else. Let's take a look. Let's see what our TriCube Tail cards tell us. A hard, agile challenge. That's like everything he's gotten. He's gone from getting all queens and jokers to hard, agile challenges every time he turns around. Let's see. So that tells me that he cannot break free, which makes sense. I mean, this cage was designed to keep struggling people from avoiding fate, maybe not worse than death, but certainly not one that they'll enjoy very much, as they are turned into these ghost riders. And as we take a look at Russell Miranda once again, he hammer, fist, big irons, horseman. Yeah, hammer, fist. So he's going to try. I guess that means he's got to try to free himself by manipulating some kind of device, like trying to pick a lock or something. Um, Certainly, that's a skill he might have as a gunslinger. They are widely, competent. They know how to do a bunch of different things. But once again, agility is not his thing. So he's going to try to do it to get himself set up and ready to see if he can free himself quietly. The stupid Ghost Rider is right there staring at him, so probably why it's in part hard. But he feels some strength returning to his limbs. His knife and that rune axe are close by. If he can manage to, if his feet won't fail him, if his legs don't buckle, if he can get out, he feels he might have a chance of getting one of those weapons onto the Ghost Rider. I, however, am not so I am not so optimistic unless his rolling has changed greatly. All right. Difficult agility, hard agility. Oh. Gosh. I just don't see anything there. The hammer fist, if it were strength, so we're just gonna another failure. He is not able to he's not able to free himself physically. So he's going to have to try to talk. He's going to try to convince the doctor. Now here the icon of the doctor looks pretty monstrous. That's not what he's saying. I just happen to have a sister of, was it Lemuria? I can't remember what. It was a Dark Tower story, but and she looks monstrous there. But I scribbled a little white mask on her using roll 20. So she looks monstrous there. She may not. She may be monstrous. We don't know yet. Have you forgotten the face of your father, physician? First, do no harm. Isn't that how your creed goes? The doctor looks up and turns to Russell, and he can see now that the eyes are definitely feminine. The face has a more feminine slenderness to it, and as his vision is clearing, he can see that overall more feminine shape through the white robes. Let's see what kind of NPC she is. Let's see, shall I use my fancy NPC generator? Sure. Let's give it a roll. Let's see what happens. Okay. Neutral lecturing attitude. Okay. But a sincere demeanor. Let's see, Shane or Pablo. I don't think that's probably 2-4 female names. Diana, Danielle. We had a Diana back in the other city, so we'll go with Danielle. You're the one who came into our humble home, Gunslinger. What did you expect would happen? I've heard of your legendary skills and your brotherhood and how powerful they are. Um, but now you're there. And as far as my father was a kind man, but he was simple. He held to the old ways. He was happy scraping roots out of the dirt. I'm not, Gunslinger. You may not be happy following the footsteps of your father, but surely, if he was a good man, he taught you about the white. He taught you about the outer darkness. You are serving the Crimson King. You are serving the evil. I'm serving an organization who pays me well and takes care of me as the world falls away. That's all. Don't think this is personal, Gunslinger. You're a curiosity to me. I'm going to say that, let's see. I'm just going to draw a card and see. Joker. Okay, so positive for you. All right. And okay, so we're supposed to draw. I'm checking make sure my microphone is still working. It keeps turning off on me. All right, so 1d6. A 5. New person. All right, so there's a scene change. Roll on the table, interpret result, and draw again. So somebody else shows up. Somebody else shows up. Let's see who shows up. Bartender or barmaid. Let's see. Cruel and ruthless, huh? All right, so this person shows up, and let's see what our card says as we draw again. Okay, advanced secondary subplot negative. I don't really have a secondary subplot except trying to not at this point not get killed. So something bad, which makes sense. This guy's cruel and ruthless. An easy, agile challenge, though. All right, so as the gunslinger is thinking what to say next, Felipe Calderon, who's not a bartender, but he is, we'll say he's the cook for the place. He comes in and he has a platter, and on this platter is some really good smelling food, and it immediately makes Russell's mouth water, which makes it sting because it's still split open, and his stomach growls, and he sets it on the table, and he has a bottle, or more like a mason jar with a spoon in it, and there is it looks almost like baby food. Russell thinks it looks like it's glowing, but that's just because as the cook, who doesn't even really give the ghostwriter any attention whatsoever, no regard. He just hands him this mason jar of gruel or oatmeal or baby food, whatever it is, ghostwriter food. He hands it to him, and the ghostwriter, he takes it, and he's just eating it mechanically. Diana looks at the food and says, "Oh, thanks, Felipe. I was getting hungry. I can't. Um, Gosh, I'm kind of in the middle of something." "Yeah, I heard they caught this guy. What kind of dumb pendejo comes running into the middle of a bunker by himself? Didn't get very far, did you?" Russell just looks at him without saying anything. So what kind of agility challenge is he trying to escape again? Now the Black Jack says that it was negative for Russell. But I think that negative may actually help. So Felipe walks up to the cage and he looks up and down to make sure that the gunslinger is still properly secured in place. And it just kind of he looks at his face. He says, "Oh man, that must have hurt." Yeah, those guys they're pretty good with those whips, man. They do all sorts of stuff. They're like shooting fire out of their hands and stuff. Man, if it didn't completely destroy your soul, burn it away and replace it with this ghost, I'd almost want to do it, man. They're pretty cool. Got flying horses and everything. Just leave him alone, Felipe. What? He's an asshole. Look at him. But you're going to find out pretty soon about that, huh? Is that right, Diana? You're going to turn him into a rider, eh? That's the orders. She's real good at that. Yep. I hope. Enjoy that smell, huh? Enjoy that smell, cabron. Because when you turn into a blue bastard like this guy over here, you're going to get nothing but mush. He can't even taste it. And the only reason he's eating it is because he's been ordered to. Because they need something for their bodies. They just don't care. They're not quite right in the head. They're not their best selves, you might say. Hey, come on. And he gets closer and closer. And as he's getting ready to reach out and flick the gunslinger on the nose, he's cruel, ruthless. The gunslinger is going to try again. He's going to try to use the advantage, the distraction, and he's going to try to bite his finger. And while this guy is struggling, trying to get away, Russell's going to try once again to find some kind of latch, some kind of way to get these things out. Now it says it's an easy agility, so he's going to have to find a way to like unbuckle something and get out. Okay, let's see. Easy agility. One success. All right, you'll take it. So his challenge was to escape, and Felipe sticks his hand. He gets ready to flick him in the nose, and as he flicks him in the nose, Russell opens his mouth and bites down as hard as he can on Felipe's finger and jerks it back and forth. He can taste the blood, but he's not sure if it's his own blood from his split lip that's now pulled open again, or if it's from him crushing this person's finger. Ah! Ah! And as this guy is doing that, Russell is he's working at a latch. He found a latch on the strap that across his arms, and the gunsling or the Ghost Rider and the doctor, they both come over and they're sitting there and they're trying to pull Felipe free. But as they do that, as they're doing that, they're tied up. They're not watching Russell's hands, and he has managed to get his arms free, and he's going to try to grab the doctor and the Ghost Rider and slam their heads together into Felipe's head. Because he can't just leap out yet because his legs are still tied, but he's got his arms free. Let's see. All right, so that one will actually be a 3-6, and since that's his action, I'm not even going to try to pull a card for challenge or anything. I'm going to say that's a regular value because it's there's a lot going on there. Okay, one success. All right, so instead of he is trying to hurt them, but at this point he's trying to escape. So he grabs the nurse by her habit, and he grabs the Ghost Rider by a big old length of hair and slams their heads together into Felipe and spits his finger out at the same time, and all three of them stumble backwards. Russell immediately, because he's figured out how to unlatch the things once he's got his hands free. He unlatches his knees and he unlatches his hip, and he is leaping over the table trying to grab that axe and the dagger or his Bowie knife before they recover. Now, of course, his biggest threat is the Ghost Rider, because that Ghost Rider, he knows he has weapons. So he's going to try to take that axe and cleave it into the Ghost Rider, as the Ghost Rider is like a fiery electrical tomahawk is starting to form in his hand, and Russell looks at it with with wide eyes. I guess if they can form bullwhips, they can form whatever. And he brings down the axe. Two successes. Excellent. Oops. All right, so he hammers the axe down, and as the tomahawk is just about formed and the Ghost Rider of Tahira is just about on his feet, Russell brings the rune-covered axe down straight on his skull, and it buries it to his nose. His head splits, and blood, thick, like black blood, like the other ones, spills out, and the fire, the glow, blinks out, and the Ghost Rider falls to the ground like a marionette that just had its strings pulled. Now, Felipe is, let's see. You know, Felipe looks like he might cause some trouble. So as Felipe gets up, because he is cruel, even though he's relaxed and calm otherwise, he pulls a big chef's knife out and he lunges at the gunslinger. And so the gunslinger will try to defend himself. He'll try to block the attack and follow up with a counter. Oh, 0 successes. Let's see. You know what? He cannot. He really can't afford to get creamed again. So we're going to. Whoops. Get out of. He's going to spend. Okay. Why? What are you doing now? Okay. Go away. All right. He's going to spend a Ka point, and he's going to activate his big hands. Not big hands. What is it? His can't believe it. His hammer fist. There we go. He's going to use his hammer fist to knock the knife away as it's coming in, and then he's going to follow up with another strike with the axe. He's going to try to bury it into Felipe's neck. Okay. One success, a 6, that's good. Oh, yeah. So as he knocks the huge butcher knife away as it comes down, he sidesteps and he swings the ruined axe across his body and buries it deep into Felipe's neck. And Felipe drops his knife and his blood spurts from his mouth and from his nostrils as blood spews from the meaty slash, the huge hole that the axe leaves when Russell jerks it free, and he shoves Felipe across the room into some nameless into some unknown computer, and he hits that and he falls to the ground to his knees, still clutching at his neck, slowly turning gray as the blood immediately soaks his white cook's uniform. Now the doctor, what is she gonna do? Now she knows she obviously can't beat this gunslinger. So is she gonna just try to run and escape? Or is she going to try to sound some kind of alarm? I'm gonna say that, let's see, what was her neutral and okay, she's sincere. Okay, that doesn't really help. So I'm going to say on a 1 through 4, she's just going to try to flee. On a 5 or a 6, she's going to try to reach over for some kind of alarm or a radio or something. All right. So she's just fleeing. She's running. So as Russell throws Felipe against this piece of equipment, she screams and she makes out for the door. And Russell, it's kind of a small room, but would he be able to get her? Okay, so I'm going to say he's going to try to hurl that axe. She's almost got the door open and she's freaked and she looks like she moves pretty fast. So that's going to be an agility, but because it's close and she stopped trying to she is currently stopped trying to open that door. So I'm going to make that an easy difficulty. Oh man. Yep. Yeah, where were all you sixes earlier? So she reaches out to get the door. He hurls that axe and it buries itself into the back of her skull, almost all the way through to her faceplate. And she doesn't even scream. She just twitches and then falls flat. Also, kind of like a marionette, as the axe has completely destroyed her brain. He looks around just to make sure that no one else is coming. He's still got his Bowie knife. Not seeing anything. He puts his foot on the back of the woman's neck and jerks the axe free of her skull, sending blood and gray matter spilling to the floor. Gods. I didn't want to have to do that, Doctor. And it's true, he didn't. But once again, he could not, he knew that he could not allow that, allow himself to get, to deal with anything else right now. He can still barely feel his face. And she would surely have summoned more guards. So he looks around. There's not really much else that, because everything that he had in his satchel that wasn't a weapon, they just left there in his satchel. So he's got his axe and he's got his Bowie knife. He's going to look around for, he's not a doctor, but he's going to look around to see if there's some kind of bandages or something that he recognizes. He doesn't really recognize much of anything here because it's so far. This is more of an advanced medical facility, but he knows what bandages look like, and he knows what you know ointments might look might look like. So I'm gonna give that a crafty roll. Let's see if he can find anything. Okay, so he does find what looks like, he recognizes a box that has the a big red cross on it, which he knows it from long ago, and even still in some places in the old technology in the old books, he knows that this cross is oftentimes associated with medicine and healing. And he looks inside. It's a little pack. He looks inside, and he does find a bunch of things, bandages and slings and uh, first aid equipment. Some of which he recognizes. Now is not the time to try to use it, but he shoves it into his satchel. And let's see. This is kind of an interesting place as well. This lab where they apparently turn people into those things. I'm gonna say on a 5 or a 6. We'll roll on like an arcane items table here. Okay, 5. So let's see what he finds. And this is also from our solo supplement, our Tricube Tales solo supplement. Let's see. Let's go ahead and give us a die 66 roll. 5, 5. Arcane items, 5/5. A shield or a buckler? Hmm. That seems a little. That seems a little out of place. Almost everything else might be out of place, but well, it's a weird place. Let's see if it has any trapping features. 3/3. A horrific visage. Hmm. All right, so for some reason, this place has a buckler. Um, Maybe it's some kind of hobbyist, but there's a buckler, and on the buckler is a horrible picture of creation. On the buckler is a horrible creation, a picture of a group of ancient vampires descending on an innocent woman, an innocent young woman, bleeding her to turn her into a vampire, forcing her to drink blood. It's very detailed. In fact, it's what the modern world would call like a holographic image, but it has its use. I mean, it's sturdy, so it would be useful. But I'm gonna say it's only got some kind of power trapping on a 6. Okay, so there's no power trapping on the item, um, but it could prove to be handy. He's not really used a shield as such. Yeah, he's not really used a shield before, so I think he's probably just going to keep his knife. He'll have his axe in one hand and his knife in the other. Um, but he does take that shield, that buckler, and he puts it in his satchel as well. I'll just note this here real quick. So he's got a first aid kit and buckler with horrifying image of vampire conversion. All right, so maybe at some point that'll help somebody out. All right, so Russell Miranda has escaped the clutches, at least so far. At this point, he has escaped the immediate fate of being turned into a Ghost Rider of Tahira. He's defeated 3 of the people inside with this axe. Let's see. And on a six, I'm going to say the axe has, um, never mind. I'm going to say nothing happened because at this point I'm not even really sure that the axe has some kind of power. It just has runes carved on it, and it could be runes that say something like Harbor Freight, for all he knows. So we'll save any kind of further activation rolls for something a little more important. But let's see, from the inside, he's able to open the door. He searches around a little more. The screens don't mean anything to him. The equipment is completely alien. He has no idea what it's for. So he's just gonna happily take his strange little buckler that he found and the first aid kit, and he's going to slowly push open the door. But then he remembers He remembers there's a camera. What he heard them call a camera. I don't remember if I actually said the word camera in front of Russell, but someone else did. He knows that there's a camera, and that camera can alert them. Let's see. I'm saying a 5 or a 6. As he is looking through the monitors, on a 5 or a 6, one of the monitors actually has that camera feed. I don't think it's that likely, since this is, more of a medical chamber instead of security room, but you never know. Who am I to argue with how the great old ones set up their bunkers? Oh, hey, look at that. So he does, as he's thinking about, as he's just about to open the door, he thinks about the camera, and he thinks about the screens, and he wonders if maybe these screens, these windows, are what allow them to see what's in the camera. And so he looks at the screens, and he sees one that's slowly panning back and forth, and he recognizes the hallway, he recognizes the door, and he assumes that the blood still out in front of the door is his. Is there anyone on watch? I'm going to say only a 5 or... I'm going to say it's unlikely that there's anyone on watch waiting out there. 5 or 6. Nope. All right, so the hallway is empty. He is not technically minded at all. But he does notice that there's some buttons. They're kind of like what the doctor was pushing from time to time. I'm going to say he's going to try to push some buttons. And I'm going to give him a 1 die 6, but it's going to be very difficult. He doesn't know this stuff. So this would be pure luck if he shuts the camera down from this control station. Nope. All right. So he tries pushing some buttons, but nothing happens, and he decides to stop pushing buttons before he does something that he has no idea. So he waits until the camera has panned far away. He opens the door and rushes beneath the camera. Waits while it pans to look at the door to the medical center, and then he rushes out and around the corner, waiting to getting out of the camera's view as fast as he can and looking for any nearby enemies. And we will call it there. Thank you all for helping, or at least observing, Russel Miranda escape a fate possibly worse than death. He hasn't asked any Ghost Riders before he killed them whether they actually like being Ghost Riders or not. But he's assuming that being a Ghost Rider is not something that he wants to do. So we will catch you next time. Happy gaming.